Hello everyone and welcome back to episode 164 of your favourite Formula 1 podcast. We are here for a Jeddah Grand Prix preview. It's Friday, which means that qualifying is today as you watch this. Or is it Thursday? Matt does the editing, so I'm not quite sure. But
it's Thursday.
It's Thursday. There you go. Welcome, Matt. How are you doing?
I'm dying. So this is why Jamie has done the intro today. So if you're watching this on YouTube and you don't want to see the face of a sick man, go watch on Spotify. There'll be a link down in the description below.
Or you could just watch my half of the screen and it looks great.
Or do that,
so.
Yeah.
Yes, we're here to preview Jeddah. As you watch this, obviously qualifying won't have happened. It is tomorrow because it's Thursday. And yeah, we're going to get straight into it with a bit of news to cover in the few days since the Bahrain Grand Prix last Saturday. Once again, headline, the Grand Prix is on Saturday, so don't miss out. If you thought it was on Sunday, it's the what is it, third in 4 races that's taking place on a Saturday evening, which is slightly weird. But yeah, bit of news. We kind of skimmed over it on Tuesday, but we'll talk about Christian Horner now because we kind of have to. Yeah, what on earth is going on there?
I don't think anyone knows anymore, do they? So now he's got beef with Jos Verstappen. I saw one thing yesterday that apparently he was flirting with Jos Verstappen's girlfriend, but that's since been declined. I saw another one saying that the person that had apparently brought out the stuff has now been sacked by Red Bull, but that's also been declined. And I saw every single driver getting asked about it as well. And a lot of people weren't happy with the drivers' responses. But I kind of feel they were backed into a bit of a corner with it. Now, don't get me wrong. Obviously, there was absolutely a better way to say it than a lot of people did. But I don't think any driver can go around saying, what Christian's done is wrong if it turns out it isn't true. Because we still don't know for sure. Yeah,
that's the thing. In the Western world, everyone's innocent until proven guilty. So until proven guilty, you can't condemn what he's done because there's no proof, as it were. So, what are the drivers going to say? I don't really know.
I think Lewis did it right, though. I mean, Toto Wolff basically came out and said, asking me all these questions benefits the sport in no way. Lewis kind of said, just this should be a safe space for women, and clearly there's still a lot of women in the paddock that don't feel that's the case, and that needs to be looked into. But yeah, a lot of drivers I think were kind of there we just want to focus on the racing, which at the end of the day is their job, but probably could have been worded better, couldn't it? Daniel Ricciardo seems to be the big one under fire, but of course he's desperate for that Red Bull seat, so
yeah,
I mean, not saying it's right exactly, but I think he's understandable in his personal position. But then again, he should be held more accountable if that is the case. But I think what we do know at the moment, of course, is it's just not a good look for Formula 1. Red Bull dominated Bahrain, but still all the talks is Christian Horner sending pictures of his pee-pee to people.
Yeah, and it's a shame that's the headline of Formula 1 right now. But yeah, I did see a fairly credible source claiming that Christian Horner had tried with Red Bull UK to completely buy out Red Bull Racing from Austria.
Yes, yeah.
Which, that seems incredible, underhand without the Austrians knowing, which seems like, that was never really going to happen, was it? And I don't think that's done much to help the circumstance. It feels like you've kind of got a big power struggle between Christian Horner on one side, and then you've got Jos Verstappen, Max Verstappen, and Helmut Marko on the other. And it feels like everyone is obviously they want to keep Max because he's driving the best on the grid at the minute, and Max won't leave Jos. I don't think. There's no way that they're going to cut ties like Lewis Hamilton and Anthony Hamilton did back in the day. And I just think either Red Bull are going to lose Max Verstappen or they're going to lose Christian Horner. I really don't see a way that this resolves.
Yeah, it just feels like, isn't it? It's going to be one of those bizarre cases, and probably more high profile than we've ever sort of seen before, isn't it? Where, we kind of saw, obviously, the Ferrari dominance has ended by internal political struggle, and it kind of feels like in a lot of situations it ends up because of internal political struggle. You could probably only argue that Mercedes even was really different to that. But this seems to be like the most high-profile case of a team that is absolutely on top at the moment, and everyone within that team knows they're absolutely on top at the moment, of course, but still seems quite happy that they want to tear themselves apart from the inside, which, as someone that isn't a Red Bull fan, I will quite happily watch the fireworks. I don't want it to be because of this, of course, but I will watch the fireworks.
It is at least giving a bit of jeopardy to what would otherwise be a very straightforward season for Red Bull, but clearly it isn't going to be like that.
Well, I think it's going to be a straightforward season still. I think they're a lot bigger the worries at the moment, isn't it? I think Max is kind of positioning himself as, well, maybe I can get away for 2026, because apparently there is zero confidence in the engine that Red Bull are currently producing for 2026.
Yeah,
apparently they are way
behind.
Behind. Yeah.
But how do they know that they're behind if everyone's got it under wraps? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, you always pick up little bits and pieces, though, don't you? Like, everyone knew Mercedes were going to go into 2014 strong. You always sort of get little hints here and there.
I guess so. Maybe he lines himself up for a Merc seat then.
Well, I think, it's also when you look at it, can you think ever in Formula 1 where a team has been able to come in and immediately, without a huge experience in either road car or other racing technology, wherever there has been a team that comes in and produces a good engine off the bat? It just doesn't happen.
It's true. Yeah. And obviously Red Bull powertrains have hired a lot of good people, but they're still an inexperienced team. They've never done it before in that department and in that factory, I guess. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I think obviously they've got Ford backing, but I don't know how much Ford expertise is going in. But even so, they've never really designed modern day Formula 1 engines, have they? So,
well, will Ford even be backing them? They're apparently
true.
seething over in the US over all this that's still going on. The more and more Red Bull drag it out, just the messier it gets.
Yeah, really. And to be honest, either it gets resolved with a lot of money being thrown around trying to settle, or one of Christian Horner or Max Verstappen will announce they're leaving, or will be forced to leave. I think.
I guess
probably
looking
Christian
at it,
Horner, to be honest.
Yeah, I guess looking at it from kind of our standpoint, if you were going to go one way or the other with that, I would. If I was Red Bull, I would absolutely be trying to get rid of Christian at the moment. It feels like there's a lot less to lose.
The choice between the two, from a purely sporting standpoint, you want to keep the best driver on the grid in your team. And, but I think it's, as a business and a personal relations point of view, you can't just dismiss your team leader because someone doesn't like them, unless you can actually prove they've done something wrong.
Well, I mean, you can pay them off.
Yeah,
but obviously Red Bull don't want to do that.
But it's just, it'll be such bad blood if it turns out he isn't guilty and they've got rid of him because, Jos Verstappen's got too much of an ego to back down.
Oh, exactly. But Jos Verstappen, I mean, I'm quite happy to go on the record and saying Jos Verstappen shouldn't be anywhere near a Formula 1 paddock.
No,
he should be locked up. But there we are.
Then,
ban Jos Verstappen. That's probably a good first step. But there we are.
We'll move on.
I guess as well, it's obviously, apparently, there's kind of speculation as well, of course, because it's the Thai side of Red Bull that is backing Christian Horner in this. And apparently now there's kind of rumours swirling as well, isn't it, that historically Asia and things like that don't quite align with the Western world and how serious this kind of issue is.
Yeah. Well, it's just cultural, I think. Different cultures see it differently. Obviously, you can't blame them almost if that's just how they've been raised, but realistically,
but you should always be moving forward, shouldn't you?
Yeah. And respectfully, F1 is a Western organisation, so you kind of got.
Well, I wouldn't say that anymore. You say it's US still, isn't it? But it's pretty much, as our next point is going to go into, is pretty much now completely run by oil money, isn't it? It's really gone the way of football, hasn't it? It's quite staggering.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame. Bring back Bernie. No, don't do that.
Don't bring back Bernie.
The 2017 to 2020 era of Ross Brawn, Sean Bratches, and Chase Carey, that was great. We should go back there. Because we're going to move on to Mohammed Ben Sulayem, who is CEO of Formula One. Is that have I named him right there?
No, he's CEO of the FIA.
CEO of the FIA, sorry. Who
has F1.
Got into a bit of bother with a whistleblower recently. There's been two instances where a whistleblower anonymously has claimed, with quite good sources, it's quite credible, that two occasions he has tried to influence the FIA in their decision making, which obviously is completely not allowed because he's nothing to do with the stewards or the race directors. So he actually has no power to change the result of a race or to make decisions regarding a race. But he's attempted to do both. And one of them was successful. The main one is 2023, Saudi Arabia, 1 year ago. Fernando Alonso, if you remember, got the 10-second penalty for incorrectly serving a 5-second penalty, because his rear jack touched the back of the car while he was meant to be serving the 5 seconds. So,
and why did he get the 5 seconds?
I actually don't remember. What was it for?
Because he couldn't park between white lines on the grid.
Oh yeah, he was out of his grid spot, wasn't he? Yeah, so this penalty put George Russell on the podium. Eventually, a few hours after the race, it got changed to a 5-second penalty rather than a 10-second penalty, for reasons unbeknown to most of us, because it's quite standard that if you touch the car when you're serving a penalty, it is a penalty. Turns out that the Aramco Formula One team at the Aramco Jeddah Corniche circuit, the CEO of the FIA really wanted that car to be on the podium, so petitioned.
I'm just going to double check something as well quickly about this story. Carry on.
Okay, so after the race, a couple of hours after the race, Fernando Alonso's penalty is reduced from 10 seconds to 5 seconds, raising him back ahead of George Russell for his 100th podium in Formula One at the Saudi Arabian circuit. It actually went down quite quietly. I remember George Russell not being that bothered, really, at the time. But it turns out that it could have been all an inside job. But, yeah, I think if I had $1 for every time Fernando Alonso has been involved in race fixing at a night race, I'd have $2, which isn't much, but it's weird that it's happened twice.
It is very, very weird that it's happened twice, isn't it? I was just going to double check, obviously, because again, I mean, this one screams, doesn't it, of Aramco just kind of going, well, hang on a minute, we've got our logos on this car. Aramco is, I think, the 4th largest company in the world currently based on market, or publicly listed company based on market cap. They make billions of dollars. You know, for them, it's not a lot. But I was just actually having a quick look whether the race had reported this, because, of course, who are they funded by now?
Yeah. That would be quite funny. We're not here to throw shade at the race. I quite like it.
Well, so do I normally, but again, it's... You know, they have got their own motivations as well. They have done a report on it. It is very, very short, but it also links back to a video explaining why they didn't get a penalty for it.
Right.
So it's all a little bit funny. So if you want, to listen or consume Formula One knowledge that isn't paid for by a Saudi oil prince, listen to us for now.
But if there's any Saudi oil prince listening, we will.
And you want to send a few money this way, we will take a few.
And we will brush this under the carpet.
Exactly. We can make this podcast disappear. Actually, that's a fantastic segue into another topic of conversation today, isn't it? Is the new how is it meant to be pronounced? Quiddiya,
I think.
Quiddiya circuit,
as an Arabic speaker, such as myself.
Yep, exactly. When we claim our Saudi oil money.
Yes, they've designed a circuit which looks ridiculous. It looks like something a 7-year-old would come up with.
Yep.
In a bad way. I mean, to be fair, the circuit design looks all right. Like, I don't mind it. It's a purpose-built track, which is always nice in modern-day Formula One.
Yep.
The problem with it is Turn 1 is literally Rainbow Road from Mario Kart.
Again, we said this before the podcast, Jamie. I can't see them calling it Rainbow Road in Saudi Arabia, funnily enough.
Swiftly move on from that.
I think the only thing worse than calling it Rainbow Road is, do you know the actual name for what it's being called?
I don't.
So apparently Turn 1 is going to be known as The Blade.
Oh
Which
yeah, I did
don't
see that
know,
actually.
Which I don't know about you, but I think calling a corner The Blade in a country that is still very publicly known for doing a lot of beheadings is not a good idea.
Yeah, capital punishment is very rife there. But yeah, Turn 1, basically, they've seen the circuit of the Americas. They've seen all these modern tracks that are really flat and everyone hates them. They've seen COTA and they've been like, right, we want that. People love Turn 1 at COTA. Let's make it. But they've forgotten they need to raise the land up. So they've just put a floating Turn 1, 120 metres in the air, or something ridiculous like that.
I think it's 70, but yeah.
So literally, I'm just thinking, Ralph Schumacher at Melbourne in Turn 1 in 2003, I think it was, or 4. Mark Webber at Valencia in 2010. What if something like that happens? Because there's a bit of runoff area raised with the track, but not loads. All it takes is one car to be airborne, and not only are they airborne from the track, they go over the circuit. They're either caught by a catch fence, which you know how that usually goes in motorsports, or they're flying through like a 70-meter drop. It's just ludicrous. I was saying before the podcast, Niki Lauda, Jackie Stewart. Well, Jackie Stewart's still alive. But Niki Lauda's
Jackie Stewart, yeah.
It's absolutely horrendous, if you ask me. But yeah, for some reason the FIA have given it a Grade 1 circuit, so it's going to be on the calendar for 2027 probably. Yeah, I'm not a big fan.
I think genuinely what I hate about this more than anything else, and I will quite happily admit this is petty. What I hate about it the most is it's apparently going to be longer than Spa. And Spa already breaks FIA Grade 1 rules for how long a F1 circuit should be. So don't make it longer than Spa, because Spa should always be the longest track.
7 kilometres is the longest it can be. So Spa is something like 7.004 or something.
Bang on, it's 4 metres too long to be an F1 track.
It's something like that. It's like 40 metres or something too long.
No, it is 4.
Oh,
it is 4. Literally 4 metres too long to be an F1 track. I love it.
Yeah. But then, they've gone and built an even longer one because it's in Saudi Arabia. No way. But
it's
we will
so stupid.
We will stop throwing shade at Formula 1, I believe.
Well, it's not even Formula 1. We're just throwing shade at Saudi oil, aren't we? And how we can buy everything. We're just jealous.
Again, Saudi princes, if you're listening, we'll delete this podcast if you send me £1 billion.
£1 billion. You know what's really depressing about that? Is £1 billion is Aramco's profit every day last year. They made £1 billion every single day in 2023.
It's pocket change.
It's insane.
Get it sent.
It's absolutely insane.
We'll get out of this rabbit hole. But Quiddiya, not a good circuit. It's a shame. I mean, it is a good circuit. It will be spectacular. It's just dumb.
Once. I hope it's an absolute snooze fest.
Yeah, but the problem with circuits these days is before they've even done a race, they sign 10-year contracts.
Oh, yeah.
So, we're stuck with Miami until 2029.
We're going to be doing this podcast in 2037, knowing that the Quiddiya circuit is still hanging around. How depressing is that?
4 deaths flying off the exit of Turn 1.
Yeah, shocking. I don't get how... how do you make... I mean, I guess, obviously, if you've got huge grandstands... it wouldn't surprise me if they put, a Simpsons movie-type dome over it, so drivers can't fly out.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do, because it's got a... they're still sensible people running the safety of Formula 1. How are they going to get around the idea of a circuit raised 70 metres off the ground? Unless the runoff area is huge and they're going to raise all of it, then okay, fair, maybe.
I suppose Spa's got quite a few big drop-offs around the circuit, which if something went catastrophically wrong perfectly, could be a problem.
Yeah. It's funny, because I suppose if someone came up with the idea of designing Spa in 2024, we'd probably massively criticise it.
Well, I think there's only one track we'd criticise more than Spa if it was announced on the F1 calendar today. Actually, 2. Can you name them for me?
Arvis?
This isn't the quiz. No, I mean actual tracks that are on the current F1 calendar.
Monaco would be terribly criticised for being awful.
Yep. Monaco would not get more than one race
maybe
ever.
Hungary?
No, wasn't going to be my second choice, actually.
What else is boring? I guess Baku, but we did criticise that quite a lot.
No, I was going to suggest. Imagine if someone unveiled today that they were building Monza as an F1 track.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
it's basically big straights and chicanes.
Yeah,
there's no way anyone would talk about Monza at all in a positive light if that got announced today, and yet we absolutely love it.
It's true. It is true, and maybe, Quiddiya is perfectly safe. No one ever flies off the spike or the blade. Sorry,
the spike.
And we all love it.
It's all just so dumb. All so dumb. I'm sure they're going to put a football stadium on there as well because FIFA will have a wet dream over it or something. We segued away from Mohammed Ben Sulayem, didn't we? But we were talking about track safety. There's been more corruption, hasn't there? Because apparently he told whoever was doing like the FIA final sign-offs on Vegas to, for any plausible reason, not allow the race to go ahead.
This is after the drain had destroyed Carlos Sainz's Ferrari.
No, this was before.
I don't think it was. Maybe I read that wrong.
This was before the weekend, because they went out like 2 weeks beforehand and finally signed it off. Like, there was a genuine possibility that, I mean, it was never going to happen, but there was a sensible possibility that Vegas wouldn't go ahead.
I do wonder why. Maybe he just doesn't like America very much.
Well, again, it's probably Saudi oil money.
Yeah, but it's a bit strange. I mean, this one is less, it's less bad in my mind because it's still like trying to stir the pot where you're not really invited to, but it's not trying to change the result of a race or like, do that kind of thing. And everyone's entitled to their opinions, and he just happens to run the FIA, so he is more entitled to his opinions. Obviously, he shouldn't be putting pressure on people to do their jobs in a different way, but I think he's entitled to say what he thinks to the people.
But I
was
think
doing
the
that
big
with a bit
question
more.
I think the big question there is, Jamie, was he saying what he thinks, or was he saying what someone else thinks?
Well, who knows?
Formula One has, I mean, we had Bernie Ecclestone running the show for 50 years, and it's never felt more corrupt than it does right now, apart from maybe Abu Dhabi 2021.
Well,
the sport is, I mean, it's in the media at the moment for all the wrong reasons, isn't it? I mean, I read
publicity is good publicity.
Well, no, I read a scathing report on The Guardian a couple of days ago, and I don't normally read The Guardian. I couldn't even tell you where their political allegiance is, but I'm sure someone will say I'm wrong if I did. But someone had done a report on F1, and it was hilarious. The way they were basically talking about, obviously, Drive to Survive, views have fallen off a cliff. But basically, obviously, how I think it's episode 2 starts with Christian Horner asking his kids if he's been good this year to Santa. Yeah. And of course, the answer was very clearly no.
Indeed.
But also, because they'd said as well, how most sort of blokes by the time they're in their 50s, are kind of, chiseled out, well respected, that kind of thing. Toto Wolff is pretty well respected. Otmar Safnauer, I'd argue as well. Christian Horner, though, just still his little man syndrome, isn't he? When he asked his kids what they want for Christmas, and they go, what about a Max Verstappen World Championship? Like, why would your kid care at all about that? She probably wants a pony or something.
It is
just so funny.
He is a bit unlikable, to be fair. He's
so easy to
I don't mind him. Like,
no,
I find him
he just
entertaining.
Screams a little man.
Yeah, I tell you what, I wouldn't want to know him in real life, but you don't.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely,
he's a bit like Clarkson.
Yeah, exactly. But people going on about how Clarkson should take over the Alpine team. I can't think of a man that would nosedive that organisation any quicker.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll move on.
Shall we get on?
Talk about the racing.
Well, we mentioned Alpine then, so that'll segue us nicely. We're pleased to announce they are continuing to fall apart, aren't they?
Indeed. It's good news if you're an Alpine hater.
Which is most of us, unless you're French.
Yeah, they've lost 2 more high-up technical people. So Dirk de Beer, aerodynamics chief, and Matt Harmon, technical director, both departed the team. That's been rumoured for a few weeks, but I guess Bahrain was the final straw, and they've been replaced by 3 people actually, so they've kind of restructured as well. I still get the feeling that by Monaco, Ocon and Gasly will be changing their own tyres. It's that kind of feeling, isn't it?
I'm waiting for the janitor to be promoted to team principal.
Yeah, I mean, if you are a low level engineer in Alpine, it's probably a good time to be there because you're just going to get given a load of responsibility that you wouldn't normally get. So
Or
Yeah.
no job at all.
Or it just folds and you're done. Yeah. But we shall see. I get the feeling the FIA can't really afford for Alpine to go under. So
You absolutely know they would organise a buyout for Andretti, wouldn't you? And I really hope Andretti would turn around and go,
turn it down.
yeah, actually, we're all right.
That'd be so
'Cause, I
funny.
mean, has Formula One? I'm trying to think back. Has Formula One ever fought like more than a couple of races where like Manor and Caterham and all that were struggling? Has it ran with 9 teams in pretty much ever when I can remember?
Not deliberately. 2014, the end of... There were 2 or 3 races in 2014 where...
But that's what I mean, excluding like those. But even then, though, there was still 10 teams most of the time, wasn't it? Because Manor was still showing up.
Caterham came back. No, Manor and Caterham both dropped for USA and Brazil.
Yes.
And then Caterham came back for Abu Dhabi. So it went 9-9 and then back to 10.
Yeah. But like, if I mean for like a season, has there ever just been 9 teams? Not in the 21st century, has
Not
there?
in the 21st century, no. I guess back in the 50s, there weren't that many teams, but they all ran about 10 cars. So,
Yeah.
yeah. And obviously COTA, not COTA, that wasn't even a thing back then. Indianapolis, 2005, of course.
Well, that's what I mean, ignoring those extraneous circumstances. I mean, it would be bizarre, isn't it, if Formula 1 ended up going down to 18 cars. Imagine more cars score points than don't.
They would have to go back to the old point system, but they wouldn't.
No, you couldn't.
Yeah, but Alpine, I don't see them dropping off, to be honest.
I get more and more worried. Renault aren't afraid to
I see them getting sold, but someone will take them over.
I guess for Alpine at the moment, it basically, can Renault justify spending 135 million quid a year? They've absolutely got it in their margins. But I guess, but Ocon, Gasly and 3 technical people are probably on... I mean, Ocon and Gasly are, we don't know for sure, but probably sensibly on what, like 5 million a pop?
Between 5
maybe
and
10.
Imagine, yeah.
3 top technical people in that team are probably on a couple of million each.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably looking at 150 million all in.
Mm.
I guess the thing for them is, whether it's bad publicity being at the back constantly.
Yeah, it's like what
if they are
getting the Alpine name out there, is it doing it more harm than good to finish on the back row every qualifying session? We'll see.
What they need to do is rebrand that team as Dacia, because they own Dacia or Dacia or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But then it would make sense to be last.
Yeah. The Dacia Sandero would absolutely rinse a lot of them, though, to be fair.
I reckon they rock up with a Dacia Duster.
It would be as quick.
Fantastic.
Or it would definitely qualify in the same positions if they turn up with a Dacia Sandero.
It would. It'd be incredible. Absolutely incredible. We've kind of rambled on about a lot of...
We have.
Stuff
we'll
today,
get
haven't
on to
we?
the actual Grand Prix racing, which is what we're all here to talk about.
Wonderful.
Politics. Little side note, F1 Academy is here.
Yes, it's on YouTube. I'm so excited.
That's
yeah,
great.
they're doing it. They're live streaming it all on YouTube. So even if you've got F1 TV, please, or Sky or anything like that, please make sure you watch it on YouTube to prove to the FIA that it's viable to have it on free to air. But I'm serious though. Even if you were gonna watch it on Sky,
or even if you weren't really thinking about watching it, put it on. And
just lob it on YouTube in the background. Just put it on a tab, please. Because if you can, I reckon it's gonna be Dorian Pin. I reckon she'll kick faces in this year. She's rapid.
I'm back in Marta Garcia, so I apologise, Marta. Your career's done.
Is she even in it this year?
Yeah, she's in it.
Is she still in it? I thought she was going to like European Formula or something.
Well, she better be. Now I've backed her to win it.
Now you've backed it. Yeah. I'd be staggered if she isn't, to be fair. Drivers. Oh, I'm clicking on all the random buttons. Is she there?
Oh no.
Is she not? I don't think she's there.
2024.
She's not there.
Oh no.
She's not there, mate.
I look.
No.
Oh no. Who am I backing?
No.
I don't. Abby Pulling. She's quite good.
Fair enough.
There you go. Done.
Is she there? Oh, she is there. Fair enough.
Yeah, she is.
I was going to wait for you to keep naming people
female F1 drivers who just aren't
aren't
racing.
in F
Jamie
Academy.
Chadwick's going to win.
Chad and Sophia Florence are going to be there. It's going to be incredible for Jamie. That is hilarious. That goes to tell you all how much Jamie follows F1 Academy.
What's Marta Garcia doing then? I thought she was.
I thought she was doing like Formula Renault or Formula 4 or something. Formula Open this year.
Formula Regional. Yeah.
There you
Formula
go.
Regional European. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, she might do well in that.
Fair enough. Well, Jamie, you'll keep an eye out, apparently.
I will.
Fantastic. Jeddah, I mean, we got Formula 2 and Formula Academy, don't we? No Formula 3 this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Who
Ollie
is
Behrman
Zane Maloney?
I don't know. I think Zane might. He'll probably get a podium in one of the races, but Prema surely can't be as bad as they were.
I'd hope not.
I'll back that.
I mean, imagine if Behrman and Antonelli... I mean, to be fair, if this season does anything, it could potentially expose how not fair F2 is.
Why?
Because imagine if it is in not even.
Oh, yeah.
As in how much setups do actually make the difference still. Because the amount... I'm not blaming people, because obviously Formula 1 markets it as a spec series. It isn't, at the end of the day. You know, most years you get one or two people that get mecha chromed and they've got an engine that's like 15 horsepower down.
Well, Victor Martin's just DNF'd from the points in Bahrain, didn't he, in the feature?
Yeah.
So, what's he meant to do about that? Nothing. And it could.
It's staggering how they can't build an engine that
season.
works. Yeah, it's wild, isn't it? I think, though, I mean, to be fair, Prema didn't score any points in Bahrain last year. So I reckon, I'm hoping they're stronger this weekend.
With Antonelli.
Yeah, so I'm hoping they're stronger this weekend.
Yeah, we'll see. But Zane Maloney is a big baller, so yeah,
he is.
Hopefully
he's
he's
actually not that big at all, though, is he?
I think he's not. Well, none of the F1 drivers are particularly tall, are they?
He's like 5'6".
Yes, indeed. Super Formula starts this weekend. Shout out to Teo
Porcher. Love it. And IndyCar.
That's all I've got to say. So we'll talk about the Formula 1. Don't ask me to say who's going to win IndyCar, because Marcus.
You'll say Marta Garcia.
I know nothing about IndyCar. Is Ericsson racing?
Yeah, I believe so. Still.
Is Grosjean?
No, I don't believe so. Still, he's been sacked.
Ericsson's going to win.
Actually, no. I think Grosjean might have stolen Callum Ilot's seat.
There you go. One of them's going to win. Yeah, Formula 1 is here. We're in Jeddah.
Yeah,
we're
Grosjean's
in the fourth race at the Jeddah Corniche circuit. There's been no repeat winners so far, which is quite curious. In 3 races, Lewis Hamilton got his last ever win in Formula 1 at that track in 2021, which is crazy. The last time Hamilton won a race, Verstappen had no championships.
Yep.
Mad. But yeah, shall we get straight back to what the quiz? Actually, I just remembered I wrote a quiz for you. So
you wrote a quiz for me. Wonderful.
I have.
Hopefully, there's not too many answers.
How many answers are there? There are 12 answers, so you should have a good go at this.
90 seconds or 60?
You get 60 because it's all yours.
Am I likely to get them all?
I think you can. Yeah.
Okay.
You've got 1 minute. There've been 3 races at Jeddah. You've got to name me anyone who has DNF'd from a Jeddah Corniche circuit race.
Dearie me. Mick Schumacher.
Yes.
Nikita Mazepin.
Yeah.
Yuki Tsunoda.
Mm-hmm.
Sergio Perez.
Yep.
Esteban Ocon.
No.
I bet you should just name the entire grid. Just like Grosjean. No, he never raced there. Magnussen.
No.
Hulkenberg.
No.
Alonso. Lewis. Max. Sergio. Charles. Carlos.
None of them.
Lando Norris. Oscar Piastri. Daniel Ricciardo. Yuki.
Yep.
I've already said Tsunoda. I'm trying to think. Racing Point. Who races there now? It's not a thing anymore. Sebastian Vettel. He never started.
No, he did.
Kimi Raikkonen.
No.
Antonio Giovinazzi. Alex Albon.
Yep.
Nicholas Latifi.
Yep.
Nick De Vries.
No. 3 more. Close, but not quite. 3 left.
Can you give me the year?
One of them was 2021.
Oh dearie me, I can't remember.
Yeah, it's Latifi's teammate in 21.
George Russell.
Yeah, Russell DNF that year. Don't remember how.
He did, didn't he? He crashed into Mazepin, I believe. He had nowhere to go.
The other one was 2022 Alfa Romeo.
Oh, Zhou.
No, Bottas.
Did I not say Bottas?
You didn't. I don't know how.
No,
You went through
damn
everyone
it.
else. And then 2023 Aston Martin. Didn't say Stroll.
Oh. I said Stroll.
Well, we can VAR it. I didn't hear you say
I'm
Stroll.
adamant I said Stroll at some point.
Yeah. As far
I'm
as I
adamant.
count, 9 out of 12. Well done. Maybe
Fair
10
enough.
out of 12.
Fair enough. I'll take that either way. I'm still happy with that. Shall we get our Jeddah predictions in then, Jamie? It's a high-speed circuit. It should suit our high-speed cars. That means Williams are going to win. No, it doesn't.
Interestingly, it does mean that we should get a mix-up of order because everyone's saying F1's boring now. That's just because we tested
mix-up
the same
strong.
race. Maybe
Yeah.
not a mix-up.
You-
Red Bull will still be quickest, but I think all the teams 2 to 5 should be in maybe different orders.
Okay. So who are you saying then? Pole position.
Pole position, Max Verstappen.
Oh, you're so boring.
Thank you.
Oh,
Top 3. It's not a sprint. No, that's the first one's in Shanghai.
no. Yeah.
Top 3, Max Verstappen is going to win his 8th race in a row.
Yeah.
Charles Leclerc will be 2nd place.
Oh, God, you're so boring.
And who's going to be 3rd? I kind of want to say Alonso, but that might be a bit dumb. I mean, if Ben Sulayem's there, it will be Alonso again, won't it?
Oh, yeah, Alonso will win it.
No, I'll go George Russell in 3rd.
Interesting.
He had a good race in
Oh,
Bahrain. Good afternoon.
yeah. Oh, who do I say?
It's already 6-2 to me after Bahrain, so
I
you might
know.
want to.
I gotta have some fun ones at the start of the year. Otherwise, it's really boring. Charles Leclerc pole, despite the fact Ferrari didn't look good on the straights in Bahrain. Max Verstappen win though. Let's be fair.
Let's be honest.
I'm gonna say Charles Leclerc P2. And I'm basically saying the same as I did last week. Oh man. I'm gonna say Oscar Piastri's always good at Jeddah. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna lose 2 points. I'm gonna say Oscar Piastri.
Fair play. When I was saying the teams will be mixed up, I do think McLaren will be down to 5th based on their straight line speed. Yeah, we'll see. I will
You reckon
say
Aston Martin are going to get the jump, do you?
I do think so. I think it'll be
Fair enough.
obviously Red Bull first. I think it'll be close between Ferrari and Mercedes, and I think Aston will be 4th with McLaren 5th. Fastest.
Aston and McLaren will kind of converge on each other. You reckon?
And then Williams will be
Fair
6th fastest.
Fair enough. I look forward to that.
Albon
Surprise
getting
points.
Albon.
My call is Albon. Damn it!
I can't
hang
lie.
on a minute. You said Joe before we recorded.
I now looked at the speed traps. I don't think Joe's getting points, sadly. I'll go Nico Hülkenberg because Haas are rapid and he's had his bad race for the season now, so he's only good races from here.
Fair enough. His only good races between now and the end of the year. When Hülkenberg crashes in like 4 Grand Prix.
Hopefully not. But Haas look good on the straights, and it should be a
Hang on a
straightforward
minute.
one stop. So
I was going to say Hülkenberg's crashed in every race so far in 2024 with other people.
Yeah, I guess he has. Can't deny it.
Crazy.
Anything else, or are we?
I don't believe so. I think we've done pretty well.
I think we have. We've got qualifying on Friday. I don't know when, but I can look up.
I think it's 5 p.m.
Let's have a look. It is indeed 5 p.m. GMT, which you can work out when that is in the rest of the
Wonderful.
world.
Wonderful.
The race is also at 5 p.m. GMT UK time.
Yep.
On Saturday, so set your alarms in case you're asleep.
At 5 p.m. on a Saturday.
Get the football on at 3. Watch Barnet winning the National League, and then as soon as it's full time.
You're not suggesting we watch Barnet play football to end off a Formula 1 podcast.
And then as soon as full time whistle goes, switch over to the race. Done. That sounds like a great Saturday to me.
That sounds like the Saturday of your dreams, doesn't it, Jamie?
Indeed. We're going up.
Fair
Get me
enough.
to Wembley.
Fair enough. Okay. Well, thank you all as always so much for listening. And we'll be back next week nice and early. It'll be nice to have a break, won't it, next week, I suppose.
Already? We're 2 races. We're not even 2 races.
We're 2 races in and we're already bored out of our minds. It's wonderful. But yeah, we'll be back very soon with more Knowing Wheel.